Okay, well, good morning, everybody. I'm glad you can all be here. Welcome to the Food Science Program's virtual open house event. We're very happy that you could all join us, and we've got a great event planned for you today. Let me start by introducing you to the speakers. So I'll start by introducing myself, then I'll pass it on to my colleague, Dr. Amin, and two students who have been who will be joining us this morning. Okay, so my name is Luis Castro. I am an assistant professor here in the Food Science Department. And Food Science and Nutrition Department, I'm sorry, and I teach the upper level food chemistry and food analysis courses. Let me pass it along to my colleagues. So Dr. Amin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Hello, welcome everybody. My name is Dr. Samir Amin. I'm also a faculty member here in the Food Science and Nutrition Department. I teach primarily the culinary science courses. So if you are thinking about doing the culinology major, which I will discuss in the video you'll be watching later, you will see me in a number of classes, but I also co-teach the product development course. And I'm glad you could join us today. So back to you, Dr. Castro.
All right, thank you, Dr. Amin. Let me pass it along to two of the students. So Tina, you want to begin?
Hi everyone, my name is Tina and I'm a fourth year food science major and I'm one of the co-presidents of the Food Science Club. Justine?
Hi, I'm Justine. I'm the other co-president of the Food Science Club. I'm also a fourth year food science major with a minor in Spanish, and also I'm doing the advanced food science concentration. Back to you, Dr. Castro.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me give you a little description of what the program that we have for you this morning, how it's going to work. So let's go through some of the logistics. So we're going to be sharing information with you about the program, what subjects you will be studying, what type of courses you will be taking, career opportunities with a degree in food science, and also some of the activities outside of the classroom that the students can get involved with. So we're going to start with an introduction by our department head about our department, and eventually we're going to move on to a presentation about the program by Dr. Amin. And after that, we're going to have a Q&A session. After that Q&A session, we're going to take a look at some of the production activities in the department. And following that, we'll have a virtual tour of our pilot plant, which is where the production activities are going to take place. And we'll follow that up with a video of some of the current students talking a little bit about their experiences at Cal Poly, why they chose to come here to Cal Poly and join our program. And at this point, we're going to have a second Q&A session. Okay, so we ask that you please hold off on your questions until we're at the Q&A portion of the event. And if you want to ask a question, you'll notice the chat function is disabled, but you should see an icon that says participants. It's normally located on the lower part of the Zoom screen. If you click on participants, it gives you the option to raise your hand. So when we get to the Q&A session, just please go ahead and click participants, raise your hand. If you have a question, me and my colleagues will be able to see. If you have a question, we'll go ahead and unmute you and you can ask your question, and any one of us will be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. Okay, with that, I would like to add that this session is being recorded and it will be posted on our website, so it will be made available for whoever wasn't able to be here, or if you want to revisit anything that we talked about, you're obviously more than welcome to do so. Okay, well, welcome to the Food Science Program's overview, and I will start with, I'll start the program with a greeting from our department head. So let me share my screen real quick and I will take you directly to that.
Good morning, and welcome to the Food Science and Nutrition virtual open house event. My name is Stephanie Young, and I am the head of the department, one of the largest in the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences, with a total of roughly 600 students, 13 faculty members, 9 lecturers, and 5 staff members. We have an exciting agenda planned for you today, so you can find out why we are unique. We are really sorry that we can't meet with you in person, but as you know, Cal Poly is hosting its entire quarter virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We just wrapped up our second week of classes, and faculty and staff have been amazing adapting to the situation, and students have quickly adjusted to this new learning environment. At this point, we are hopeful that by the beginning of fall quarter, everyone will be back on campus and ready to experience learn by doing together in person. Safety is our top priority, and we will continue to follow state, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and California State University guidelines as the coronavirus situation evolves. We will be ready to offer all our courses online in the fall if necessary. Whether online or in person, we are committed to providing the same outstanding learning experience that brought you to Cal Poly in the first place. Okay, so now the program about the major that you are interested in is going to start. You are going to hear about the learning of our students in the classroom and unique hands-on opportunities they are exposed to. You will also learn about research opportunities during the school years or during the summer via a summer program which started 3 years ago named SIR. You will find out about our Cal Poly enterprise opportunities in jam and chocolate production that some of our food science and nutrition students participate in. You will also hear about the experience that our students have via internships that our faculty often help our students to get via their strong connection with the food industry and the nutrition community. You will also hear about the exciting research performed from our faculty in partnership with industry, which will not be possible without our amazing undergraduate students. Finally, our students love our pilot plant, and our pilot plant manager is going to take you on a virtual tour today, as you cannot be with us. I also wanted to share with you an exciting news. The construction of a state-of-the-art building is on its way, the William and Linda Frost Center for Research and Innovation, which will have 7 new laboratories for our department, including a culinary teaching lab, a sensory analysis teaching and research lab, a food safety teaching lab, a teaching and research instrumentation lab, and a nutrition and food studies lab. We are extremely excited that our students will be able to use such facility in the future. Please check out our website for more information about it. I hope you will enjoy the program, and if you have an additional question, please be aware that we will be hosting 2 Q&A Zoom events next week, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. Please look at our website for information on how to join the events. It was nice to meet you, and I hope to see you on campus in the future. Please do not hesitate to reach me with any questions. My email is stjung@calpoly.edu.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Yan, for that wonderful introduction. And now I'm going to move it to our presentation about the food science program from Dr. Amin.
Good morning. I would like to welcome you to the Food Science and Nutrition Virtual Open House, and thank you for joining us today. I would like to take a moment and introduce myself. My name is Samir Amin, and I'm an associate professor in the department. I teach classes in culinary science and co-teach the product development course. During our time together today, I will tell you a little bit about our department, talk about the 2 different concentrations available to you in the food science department,
discuss what job opportunities are available to you after graduation, discuss some job opportunities for you for extracurricular activities, and finally answer any additional questions you may have. So let's get started. A little bit about our department. We're among one of the largest food science and nutrition programs in the US. We have approximately 540 total students in the department between food science and nutrition. In the food science program, we have a total of 195 students. That makes us one of the largest programs in the country for food science as well. We have an experienced faculty and staff with a primary emphasis on undergraduate education. And that faculty is made up of six full-time faculty members with 2 lecturers. And we have a very strong learn by doing philosophy. And that's seen by the fact that majority of our courses have lab or activities associated with the lectures. This allows our students the opportunity to apply the theoretical knowledge gained in the classroom to practical problems in the real world. So right about now, you might be thinking, well, what is food science? Food science is defined by the Institute of Food Technologists as the discipline in which engineering, biological, and physical sciences are used to study the nature of foods, the causes of deterioration, the principles underlying food processing, and the improvement of foods for consuming public. So what does this all mean? Well, basically in food science, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make food safer, last longer, and taste better for the public. And we do this through understanding the nature of the food and for ways we can process it better. And processing, for you to think about, is anything that we do to our food. So this can include cutting and bagging fruit and lettuce to canning tomatoes and green beans. And as you can also see from the definition of food science is a discipline that combines a lot of the other scientific disciplines into one. So a little bit more about food science and how are you going to know if you like it? Well, food science might be for you if you like food. And who doesn't like food? If you like science, and science is cool. We all know that. And if you want to learn how basic science can be applied in the real world. And also, just think about it. In food science, a lot of times we get to eat our own homework. You can't do that in the other sciences. And if you want to understand how to keep food from spoiling, you want to make sure it remains safe and continues to be tasty and fun. So what else can we do with food science? Well, have you ever wanted to convert corn into a crunchy portable snack? If you have, you can in food science. How about making meat from plants? You can do that in food science as well. How about having your strawberries pre-mixed into your cereal? Food science, you guessed it. Or how about turning milk into yogurt and doing that on purpose? Yep, you guessed it. If all of these things sound fun and interesting, well then, food science might be for you. So, if this all sounds great, let's take a look at our curriculum. So, here at Cal Poly, you can get a Bachelor's of Science in Food Science. And we have 2 really great concentrations. We've got an advanced concentration in food science, which is the concentration that is approved by the Institute of Food Technologists, our IFT approved curriculum. And then we have a culinology concentration, which is approved by the Research Chefs Association. And there are slight differences between the 2. Basically, you take a lot of the same courses. The way they differ is, in the advanced concentration, you will be taking food engineering, advanced food processing, and calculus 2, and you'll also have one free elective class. While in culinology, those 16 units that I just mentioned before will actually be made up of 16 units of culinary and food service focused classes and a 1-unit culinary internship that will be completed here on campus. So depends on what you want to do. And what I would suggest is, if it's possible, if you can do it, is to combine both of those, because then you get the best of both worlds. And there are other reasons for choosing one over the other, but if you can do both, that would be the best. So let's take a look at the curriculum a little bit more in detail. So in the BS in food science, what you're going to get is you're going to get a strong foundation in the sciences. I just want to let you know that the food science degree is a degree in science. It's an applied science degree. So you will take foundational courses in general chemistry. You'll take organic chemistry. You'll take biochemistry. You'll take biology, microbiology, physics, calculus, and statistics as well. Along with those, you'll take courses in food processing, packaging, chemistry, analysis, food safety, sanitation, and engineering, quality assurance, sensory evaluation, and my favorite, product development. All of these will get you ready for a really great career. So what kind of careers can you have in food science? Well, the sky's the limit. There's a lot of really great careers out there in food science. And, just remember, everyone needs to eat. You can always find a job in the food industry. So some jobs that are out there is you can be a research scientist, and you can go on to do product development, you develop different types of food products that consumers will eat. You can work doing food chemistry and analysis, sensory science, where you learn why people want to eat particular types of products. You can make sure that food is safe. And food safety is big. Everyone wants to make sure their food is safe. You can look into regulatory, because there's always a regulation behind the food. Food inspectors, making sure that companies are producing safe and quality food. Ingredient development and application scientists, working for ingredient companies is a really good opportunity as well. You can work in food plants doing production, being a production manager, or you can even work in sales if you want. I know a lot of people who've gotten their degrees in food science and then went on to do ingredient sales and had a really great career and really enjoyed it. So what kind of companies can you go work for? Well, some companies that some of our graduates have gone on to work for, food companies like Nestle or Impossible Foods, Sunmaid, Cliff Bar, Amy's Kitchen, NASA, Earthbound Foods, Blomers. There's also a whole host of other ones up here that I won't go into. But there's a lot of great opportunities for you from both large and small companies here in California and across the country and even internationally. So food science is a great career choice. But what about something else to do other than studying? And yes, you will have some free time. So there are some other things you can do here at Cal Poly when you're not studying. So you can join one of the student clubs. We've got a nutrition club and we've got a food science club here within the department. And it doesn't matter if you're in food science major. You can still join the nutrition club if that's something that interests you. We've got a lot of students from nutrition that are in the food science club and vice versa. It's great. And that's one of the nice things I really like about our department is that we have both food science and nutrition here together. And then there's also many clubs across campus that you can get involved with. Or you can compete on one of the academic teams like Quiz Bowl, which is a Jeopardy style format for food science. And we've actually sent a number of teams to the national competition over the past couple of years. We've got product development competition teams that you can get involved with as well. Or if you want to, you can get involved with research, either doing research for one of the faculty here in nutrition or food science, or maybe one of the other faculty throughout the college. But I know a number of the faculty here in the department are always looking for bright, eager students to take on some research projects. You can work during the academic year if your schedule allows it. Or we've got the Summer Undergraduate Research Program, which I would highly recommend you look into. This is a great opportunity where you work really closely with a faculty mentor over the summer for 10 weeks. You get paid to do research, and at the end of it, you do a poster presentation. And you can see that top picture is from last summer. It's the group of students from our department, from both food science and nutrition. We had a really great group of students. Also within the college, we've got the Spring Student Research Symposium where students will do research presentations, or even at the campus, the CSU level, you can do a research competition. Or if you want to learn more about production, you can get hired on to make some of the great products we make here within the department, like Cal Poly Jam or Cal Poly Barbecue Sauce or Cal Poly Chocolates. I know Molly's always looking for great students to work in Cal Poly chocolates or jams. And that's great experience. It looks great on a resume. And she's really flexible working with your class schedules. You can also get involved with professional meetings. We always go to the Institute of Food Technologists meeting every year, or the local chapter with Southern California IFT, where they have monthly meetings down in Southern California. We usually take a group of students, or they go to the Fancy Food Show in San Francisco, or the California League of Food Processors, another one of the professional meetings that we go to, where you get the opportunity to meet a lot of people in industry and start building your network. So there's a lot of great opportunities coming here to Cal Poly. So I hope I've given you a little taste of what your opportunities are, and if you've got questions, please feel free to ask us. We're more than happy to answer any questions you have. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about anything I've talked about, I've got a couple of websites for you. The Research Chefs Association website, culinology.org. The Institute of Food Technologists website is ift.org, or you can look at our website, fsn.calpoly.edu. And now, if you've got any questions, we'd be more than happy to take them. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Amin, for that wonderful presentation. So now we're going to open it up to questions from the audience. And actually, what I'm going to do to make it a little simpler is I'm going to actually enable the chat. So all of you can just type in your questions, and we can address each one of them. Okay, you should see the chat option enabled. So if anybody has a question, or if you can either raise your hands or type in your question, whichever way works best for you. So do we have any questions so far? And I should ask, actually, can everybody see the chat option? Let me start with the first question. Can everybody see the chat window? Is everybody allowed to chat? Okay, perfect. Okay, so one of the first questions that I see is, what sets Cal Poly's food science program apart from other food science colleges, such as UC Davis? Well, based on my experience, from what I can talk about is our program is more of a learn by doing type of approach, where we're actually more interested in having everybody, have more hands-on experience with what it is that you are going to work with in terms of the curriculum. So I don't know, Dr. Amin, if you have anything to add to that, or?
Yeah, like, we could build off of what you said. It's in like UC Davis or some of the larger programs, like Michigan State, where I went, or Penn State, a lot of large land grant universities, their emphasis is more heavily based on research, where ours here at Cal Poly is teaching. That's our main focus, is teaching undergraduate students for faculty. It's not for us to do research. We were hired to teach undergrad students, and actually that's the reason I chose to come to Cal Poly over other types of universities, is I wanted to teach. And we actually want to integrate what we are teaching in the class with how you would apply it. And we do that with labs. And maybe we can get either Tina or Justine to add to that. That would be great.
So I think from a student experience, what really sets Cal Poly apart from UC Davis is like the learn by doing opportunities. And for my experience, it's specifically with the food processing job. So I used to work on the Cal Poly Jams team, and I currently work at the Cal Poly Creamery, and I've had UC Davis alumni come by for product development trials and tell me that they wish that they would have had this learn by doing opportunity that we had at Cal Poly. So that's just a note for you.
I definitely second what Tina was mentioning. I know someone that did their undergrad at Cal Poly and had a much greater experience with the learn by doing emphasis here when compared to her grad experience when she went to UC Davis. And me personally, I've worked with the chocolates team with Molly, and just being able to see how processing is in person rather than just learning through your classes makes a big difference.
Yeah, I'd just like to add a little bit to what Dr. Amin said in terms of, those other universities that were asked about they're definitely more research focused, whereas we are more focused on undergraduate education and the teaching portion. So I think you'll get more of I would say more of a hands-on approach with us, and probably a little more interaction with the faculty. Okay, we have a question from Carolyn. So I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you so you can ask your question for everybody to hear.
Get ready.
So, Carolyn, you're up.
Is it possible to study abroad with a food science major?
Okay, thank you. Yes, it is possible to study abroad. We have a study abroad program that normally goes through the International Center. So there are different opportunities for you to do study abroad. I'm not sure if Tina or Justine, have you had any experience with travel abroad, or?
Yeah, I could go ahead and speak on that. I was actually able to study abroad ending my junior year during the summer. I mainly, the program I did was in Mexico, and it was only for a month, and it really helped with my minor in Spanish, and I also took a GE course. In terms of doing a study abroad program focused primarily on food science, I'm not completely sure if there are any current programs where you can take those abroad, because a lot of those classes are very specific to Cal Poly, and which is why I opted to do classes that would fulfill my minor and GE courses. And then also with doing it during the year, there have been students that have studied abroad during the fall quarter. And I would say it's definitely possible to do it and still be able to graduate in 4 years. You just really need to be on top of your schedule and go through the International Center, making sure that you'll be able to take enough courses to fulfill your degree by those 4 years.
And I know that during the year they offer classes specific to wine and viticulture, not like to the food science program, if that's your interest when studying abroad. But there are a lot of food science students who found out that they really liked wine and viticulture when studying abroad.
Okay, thank you. And we also have a question from Ben Lee. Let me go ahead and let me find you so I can unmute you. Okay, welcome, Ben. And what was your question?
Yeah, so your website mentions that there's an option to pursue a bachelor's and master's degree, like as one part. How common is this, and how do you declare this?
That's what's called a blended master's program, and what it basically happens is you can apply, or you can apply to do the graduate program after you've completed 170 units of coursework. We've had a couple of students who are currently doing this, and that's basically, you would just have to apply before you reach 170 units, and then you pick a professor that you would work with. And the main thing about this type of program is you're going to do 2 years in one. So it's at your senior year, you're finishing your senior year, and you're also doing your first year of graduate work. And then that extra year, you only do graduate research. I hope that answers your question. I know one of my colleagues.
Dr. Castro, if I may jump in on that one. Good morning, everyone. So the blended program is something that is very unique at Cal Poly, and as you mentioned, it's you can start to work on your master degree when you are still an undergrad student. So when you are in your junior year, you can apply to the program, and then we will have a match between a faculty and the students if you meet the criteria to be admitted in the blended program. We started that program 3 years ago, so we just identify and selected students for our third cohort, and we are really excited about that. And I am going to say that the blended program is not for every student. It's an accelerated program, and the master requirement for the program still stays the same as a regular 2 years program. So when students apply, we make sure that they understand the opportunity, and it's a great opportunity. And if they decide that maybe it may be too challenging for them to handle both finishing their undergraduate courses and starting on the grad level courses, then we orient them to the regular or traditional 2-year master program that we have in our program as well, Master in Food Science. But that's a good question. So it's something that is very unique at Cal Poly. And in particular in our college, we have the only program who is offering that at this point.
I totally agree. I haven't seen any other ones at all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions? I'm going to ask a question to our students here in terms of or to anybody in the audience who wishes to answer, and how have you been dealing with, or how have you been handling, I should say, going from live to virtual in terms of, the current situation, going through doing classes virtually? Have you, what kind of an impact has that had on your academics? I'll start off with Tina.
So I'm currently taking senior project, and there are 2 quarters that you take for senior project, and I'm taking the experimentation phase, but due to all the classes being online, I can't do the experimentation phase because we're not allowed on campus. However, my faculty advisor, Dr. Lambert, who isn't here yet, she's been working very closely with my group to make sure that we're meeting the objectives and getting this learn by doing experience, even with the virtual circumstances. And so I've been able to change and adapt very quickly to a new goal, which is just a lot of sensory analysis on the Cal Poly ice cream products, which is very cool.
I know with my experience, like others, it's definitely a big change. I was looking forward to doing a lot of my classes with my professors and having that hands-on experience, but the professors have been very accommodating. And I know for my food processing class, a lot of it was supposed to take place in the pilot plant and use a lot of the equipment there. But our professor, Dr. Chowdhury, has been very kind, and he always checks on us to make sure we're understanding the material on every class and making sure that everything is making sense. I'm also taking a food microbiology class, so obviously that incorporates a lab and you're doing a lot of staining that now we can't do, but instead the professor has been providing a lot of reading materials so that you'll be able to understand the techniques fully. And she's also been very kind with everything and still incorporates a lot of group work, which has been nice to still get to communicate with other students in the class.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if Dr. Amin wants to tell us a little bit about how he's had to handle going from virtual, and I'll go right after him. Let me oops, sorry.
Well, actually, you know, it's been a interesting transition having to change classes. As I mentioned before, I teach a lot of culinary science, so in my classes, the labs are hands-on culinary-based classes, so trying to figure out how to have students get that hands-on experience has been interesting, but we've come up with some different ways to teach techniques through videos and having students post videos. I found a number of good other alternative ways for them to have a better understanding of food. Back to you, Dr. Castro.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, for my part, it's definitely been a challenge. I've done a little bit of online, not extensively, but this quarter we just, as probably all of you have had to as well, we just had to adapt very quickly to putting everything online, which is definitely a much different dynamic, I will say, and I think we're all learning kind of as we go. So yeah, it's been, I mean, it's been an interesting process, I would say. Okay. Let's see, I have got, so as Dr. Young is saying on the chat, there is no study abroad specific to food science. You can take your GE courses during the study abroad. And we're hoping to develop a food science study abroad program in the near future though. Dr. Young is originally from France and she would love to take our students on study abroad. I'm originally from Costa Rica, so I would also love to have the opportunity maybe at one point to take students to Costa Rica as well. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions before we move on? Anybody from the audience? Nope. Okay. So what we have next is we would like to give you a little bit of a tour or a little bit of insight into some of the food production that occurs in our department, as well as a tour of the pilot plant. And then eventually we will also present you some videos from some of our current students talking about their experiences. And then I'll have Tina and Justine talk to you about their experiences being in food science and being involved with the Food Science Club. Okay, so if you give me a second here, I will.
My name is Molly Lear, and I am the pilot plant manager. I am working with the students on actual production, doing jam, barbecue sauce, or chocolate. Jam started roughly 41 years ago in our labs, so it's a really good way of learn by doing to do a commercial item that they will see out in the grocery store. Our most popular is our lollyberry jam. We do a strawberry jam where we're utilizing the strawberry center strawberries. We do a blackberry jam, a raspberry jam. The students are doing the record keeping for when we're receiving items in. They're the ones who are loading the ingredients into the kettles and bringing everything up to temperature and making sure we're hitting our quality specs prior to us starting to fill the jars. Chocolate, we've been doing it since about 2000 or 2001, I believe. We're up to about 16 SKUs of different chocolate bars. The base of our bars has been about 9 flavors though. The chocolate takes about 24 hours for it to melt. And so with the type of equipment we have, we're having to prep the hotel pan. That needs to melt overnight. And then we go through and we temper the chocolate, add our inclusions if we're doing that, our flavors, etc., and then start the process there. I try to be as flexible as possible and get as many students involved as we can. It's a lot of training, but I feel like our students who are working production get to know the equipment and the facilities like bar none to anybody else. So we have from working quality assurance to setup. So students are involved from start to finish and sales. So sales, record keeping, traceability, a little bit of everything.
Okay, thank you. So that's Molly Lear. She's our pilot plant manager. She's the one that takes care of all the production at Cal Poly. She's wonderful to work with. Both Tina and Justine have worked with her at one point or another, and I'll let them speak to that in a bit. What we have next is we would like to give you a virtual tour of the actual pilot plant. So you saw a little bit of it in that video. Now Molly will take you in a virtual tour through the actual pilot plant so you can see all of the equipment that's available for production, as well as for classes, and as well as for some of the research that we do.
Hi everyone, my name is Molly Lear and I'm the pilot plant manager for Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I am going to be taking you guys on a virtual tour of our pilot plant. We're going to miss everybody at this year's open house, so we wanted to show you the space that is used for a lot of our labs that are in our food science and nutrition department. So let me turn everything around and we'll start showing you guys the space. One of the first questions that we get is, what is a pilot plant? So a pilot plant is a space that is utilized and it is utilized prior to going into full production. So a lot of the times you'll be working in a lab or in a kitchen or culinary space, and you're gonna take that benchtop formulation and you're gonna bring it into the pilot plant. So where we're going to go from here is into our quality assurance lab. Is a space that we use to go through and measure different quality attributes of the products that we're producing or that you'll see within food. So in here we have water activity meters, we have moisture content, we have analytical balances, and pH meters. Outside we also have some refractometers. These are all pieces of equipment that are used to help identify different attributes of a food, anywhere from how much acid is in the food to how much water is within the food. Next, you'll see that we have a lot of refrigeration and freezer storage. That's what these spaces are over here. Next, we're going to start talking about some of the equipment that's in the space. So I always start over with our freeze dryer because I think it's a really cool piece of equipment. Freeze drying has really picked up in popularity over the last few years. I'd say freeze-dried fruits have become extremely popular, but one of the first places I think a lot of people saw freeze-dried items are the strawberries within your cereal, okay? So this piece of equipment is able to freeze-dry a product, and then the piece of equipment next to it is a tray dehydrator. So a lot of people have dehydrators at home. This is just a little bit of a bigger unit. So it's a tray dehydrator. We have a really nice mixer here that we use for a lot of our culinary classes. So we're able to make a large scale chocolate chip cookies, for example. This item is called a spray dryer. Spray drying is really cool. You're able to make products like non-fat dry milk. A lot of juice powders are made this way. So it atomizes your sample and creates it into really, really small particles, and then it's hit with heat so that those small particles are able to dry almost instantaneously. Next, we're going to go down to our JBT retort. This is how you commercially sterilize cans. So it is like a really large pressure cooker. Excuse me. Next, we have a Dixie double seamer. This item actually seals our cans. We're only able to do one can at a time, but it's a really, really useful piece of equipment. So when you buy a can at the store, think about how the product got into that can. So we fill the can with the product, say diced tomatoes, we put a lid on top of it, and then we put the product or the can inside of this piece of equipment, and those rolls on the top are what create the hermetic seal. This is called a multivac. So this is where we can vacuum seal different products. So we use this a lot when we are sealing our freeze-dried samples so that they're not able to pick up any moisture. We have a shear mixer, so this is really cool. We use this with, we use it with our barbecue sauce and making sure that all of our spices have been incorporated into the sauce. So as I had mentioned, this is smaller equipment, small scale equipment that mimics what you would see if you went into a large production facility. So I'm gonna highlight our jam and barbecue sauce line. We have steam jacketed kettles here with temperature control, as well as mixers that are attached. In our jam line and barbecue sauce line, we're heating our products in the mixers, or I'm sorry, in the steam jacketed kettle with the mixers, and we attach a pump. It then goes over to our filling line and capping line, and then we will walk the rest of the line, and you will see we have a wash line that's associated with it. This is the wash line. A dryer and label shrinker, and a different label applier. So when you are in this space, we're going to be following all of our GMPs, which are good manufacturing practices, and we're going to be learning about what each of these different pieces of equipment do and how we utilize them in food. So just going to walk around the space, kind of show you guys some of the things that we have. This is a really neat piece that we just got about a year ago. It is a vacuum kettle, and so this is one that you'll learn about what vacuum does to temperature, how we're able to maintain color this way, and preserve flavor. So one of the things I think that's really cool about our pilot plant is it gives our students the opportunity to be hands-on and learn by doing. So you'll be able to, by the time you graduate, you'll understand what each one of these pieces of equipment does. You'll know how to take it apart. You'll know how to clean it. You'll know how to put it back together. And there's a lot of opportunities for different projects to be working within this space. So I am going to wrap things up. Again, my name is Molly Lear. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can find me on the webpage, fsn.calpoly.edu, Molly Lear, L-E-A-R. Thank you, guys. Here.
Okay, thank you, Molly, for that. And the last presentation that we would like to show you now is one that basically it's going to describe our students' experiences, but who better to describe those than the actual students? So in a second, I am just going to upload the video of the students talking about their experiences. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Aliyah Agoki and I'm a first year food science major, and I'm here to talk to you about why I chose Cal Poly. So the main reason why I chose it is because of food science. It's a great program and it's not very common to find in California. So I want to do something along the culinary aspect when I graduate, and so it's a perfect program for me. And I love cooking and baking and like the biochem aspect of it. So it's a great combination and a great major for me. And another reason why I chose Cal Poly was the learn by doing philosophy. And I know people talk about that a lot, but a great example I have of this is from my first quarter at Cal Poly. I took FSN 125, and it's like an intro to food science class. And I was in the pilot plant, my first quarter at Cal Poly, making jam, custard, ice cream, yogurt, etc. And it was just a super cool hands-on experience, and my first experience with the actual like learn by doing philosophy. And it's definitely implemented a lot at Cal Poly, and I absolutely love it. And then another reason why I picked Cal Poly is because of the location. Great hiking, mountains, city aspect, anything you could really ask for all in one small little town, college town. Love it. And my favorite aspect of that is the beaches. We have Avila, Montana de Oro, Pirates Cove, Pismo, so many great beaches and hiking spots if you're into that too. And then what I want to talk about as my aspect that I love about Cal Poly is the sports. The club sports and the intramural sports. So I was worried out of high school. I did want to play a D1 sport and commit to that, but I had been really competitive throughout my years in high school and played sports. And so I found out about Cal Poly's beach program, and their club beach program is amazing. It's about 20 girls. We travel to tournaments like about every month, have practices and things like that, and it's really great. And then there's also ASI, which puts on a ton of intramurals, and one of them will be indoor volleyball that I did last quarter with a ton of my beach friends, guys and girls. We did the co-ed league, and it was super fun. And we ended up winning the whole league, and we just brought us so much closer, and it's still so competitive if you're into that, or if you're not even into that, they have like D3, where you just play for fun. So there's so many great things that Cal Poly has to offer. And thank you for listening, and I hope you can see why I chose Cal Poly and why you should consider it.
Hello, my name is Chloe Kapner, and I'm a food science major here at Cal Poly. I transferred to Cal Poly in the fall of 2018, so I'm in my second year here, but I am technically a senior. So one of the main reasons why I chose Cal Poly would be because of its program. Cal Poly has one of the top food science programs in California, and with that, their Cal Poly students are pretty well known within the food science community, so it's a great way to make connections. And then Cal Poly is also located in San Luis Obispo County, which is right along the coast. So we're pretty close to the beach. And then there's also a ton of hiking trails. It's gorgeous, nice weather. So that was a super enticing. And then also financially speaking, Cal Poly was one of the more affordable options for me. And I also love Cal Poly's Learn by Doing method. There's a ton of opportunities to just get super hands-on. So with that, I wanted to get super involved since I missed out on my first 2 years at Cal Poly. And so I got involved with Food Science Club. I also got involved with Cal Poly production of jam and barbecue sauce. And that is a wonderful experience. It's led by Molly Lear, and she has a ton of food science knowledge too. So I always refer to that as my class that I get paid for. And yeah, it's just a great experience to learn about processing. It's also a good way to make friends too. Mostly food science students that are also working that job, also a few nutrition students. And then I also got involved in the Cal Poly sensory team, where we work with real companies to test products that they're developing to see if people like the product concept and all that stuff. And that's led by Dr. Lammert, and she's also fantastic to work with. And then outside of food science, I'm pretty involved in a club called InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. That's been great. It's a great way to meet people in other majors and of different years. And it's just been a great opportunity to explore my faith throughout college. And outside of that, I also, like I said, go to the beach, love hiking, hanging out with friends. They also have this really cool coffee shop on campus or near campus called Front Porch, and it's free coffee, great place to study, meet people, talk. That's a great thing about Cal Poly that I love. Yeah, and there's just so many opportunities. I feel like the teachers just genuinely care about you and your success. And I've always felt encouraged being at Cal Poly. So yeah, thank you for listening.
Hi, prospective students and parents. My name is Sophia Kramer, and I'm a third-year food science major here at Cal Poly. I have been at Cal Poly since my freshman year and have loved every second of it. Since I'm originally from Minnesota, I was excited to go somewhere with not only such a fantastic food science program, but in an excellent location as well. Since moving all the way out to California, I have never had a day where I have looked back. The opportunities that Cal Poly has given me cannot compare with any other school. I am involved with so many clubs on campus that have allowed me to have my own unique experiences over the last 3 years. I'm involved with a sorority on campus called Alpha Chi Omega, which focuses in philanthropic events towards the fight against domestic violence. And I'm also a member of the Cal Poly Chocolates team, where I produce Cal Poly chocolate bars each week with other students that are sold both on campus in the university bookstore and in off-campus stores around San Luis Obispo. I am also involved in religious clubs and other nonprofit clubs on campus. The Learn by Doing philosophy is clearly shown in each classroom here at Cal Poly, but especially in the field of food science. Many of my food science classes allow me to learn directly in the pilot plant and work with food and equipment. In this way, I have learned so much more than I thought I would, and have found my time in the food science curriculum extremely worthwhile as it has prepared me for industry. Overall, the school has not only shown me so many opportunities that have shaped me into the person I am today, but the town of San Luis Obispo and the people in it have quickly become my home away from home. I know choosing a college is difficult, but I also know that Cal Poly provides for each one of their students, and it can soon become a future home for you too. I hope to see you on campus next year, and go Mustangs!
Okay, and with that, I would like to say thank you to all of our students who participated creating these videos. And again, we would like to open it now for our second final Q&A session. So if anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask. Let's see. Going through the chat, what kind of questions? Okay, Catherine. Let me go ahead and unmute. Catherine Moore, if I recall correctly. Okay.
Hi, I was just wondering if there's an opportunity for scholarships within the food science program at Cal Poly.
Let me let the students answer that one, as they probably have first-hand knowledge on that. Yeah, yes, the short answer is yes, there are.
So there are scholarships available within the food science department, but also a part of the organization that the Food Science Club is under called the Institute of Food Technologists. And so within the department, they have a Food Stirs intern program. They have the SERP Research Summer Program that a lot of my peers have gotten involved in. And with the Food Science Club, they have essay prompts where you would apply for like $1,000, $2,000 scholarships just by being a member of the club and the organization. So there are lots of opportunities for that. And if you're a part of the Food Science Club, if you end up going, you'll get updates on all those opportunities.
I also know with scholarships in general with Cal Poly, they recently created a new tab on your profile called Cal Poly Scholarships. And I know that there's an overall scholarship that you can apply for and for that year. And if you qualify, then you'll be awarded that scholarship. You can also find out more information through the Financial Aid Center, I'm sure, and can speak to them about any opportunities.
And I just want to add to that, along with scholarships through the university, and Tina mentioned through the Institute of Food Technologists, IFT, there's scholarships offered through the Research Chefs Association. There's a number of different opportunities for scholarships for tuition. And then also there's scholarships that help if you wanted to attend any of the national meetings for IFT or for RCA as well.
I'll just add to that as well, that in addition to those scholarships, like some of the faculty, we all work on different areas of research, and sometimes those research are associated with certain institutions, and those institutions might offer scholarships as well. So for example, I'm involved in brewing research. So there are some scholarships from the Association of Brewing Chemists or the Master Brewers Association of the Americas. But like I said, every faculty will probably have ties or some sort of connection with institutes in the particular field of research that they're working in. So you can also find scholarships through that resource. So there are plenty of resources for scholarships. Okay, is there any other questions? Okay, Carolyn Dugan.
Will taking both food science concentrations impact the ability of graduating in 4 years?
I can answer this one. So it would depend upon if you're coming in with any AP credits or transfer credits, and the ability to and willingness to take some courses over the summer, maybe. I think since we've just started looking at doing the culinology program, officially doing a culinology program, and that having that opportunity for our students to have graduating with a bachelor's degree and having 2 approved concentrations, it's something that I think would be helpful and beneficial for students, and it can be doable, but it would just be something that we'd have to look at on a case-by-case basis. I hope that was helpful.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Amin. What I would like to do now is have Tina and Justine talk a little bit about Food Science Club. They are the co-presidents of the Food Science Club, and maybe talk about how you got involved with it and what are the benefits of the Food Science Club. I thought it would be a nice it's a nice activity, outside of the classroom, but still directly related with the program. And there's many, many ways to get involved. So I'll let Tina and Justine speak to that.
I know mine and Justine's experiences are slightly different, but the way I got involved with Food Science Club, I became a member since my freshman year, and it was a really great way to get to know other students in the program, to get familiar with what classes I should be expecting, and to hear about what opportunities were available on campus. And as a freshman, you might not know what you want to focus on food science yet. And so being a part of the Food Science Club, I was able to learn about opportunities that I ended up really liking now. So for example, I'm pursuing a packaging minor, and I found out about that through my upperclassmen peers. And then there's also the mentor-mentee program, where you, as a freshman, you get assigned a upperclassman friend to like hang out with and to like learn more about the program. And so I became more involved with the Food Science Club because my mentor was a Food Science Club officer. And so over the past years, I've been able to organize mixers and then gather industry professionals to come speak to the students. So just this past year, we've been in contact with companies such as Chipotle, California Olive Oil Ranch, Impossible Foods, and Chosen Foods, which is an avocado oil company. And so the Food Science Club is just a really great way to find out about what's going on in the industry, but also to get to know your peers and to professionally develop yourself by being in contact with these industry professionals. And Justine, I'll pass it on to you now.
So with my experience with the club, I actually didn't start out as a food science major. I started out as a chemistry major my first year, and then towards the end of that year, I decided I want to go in a more food-specific direction. So when I was still deciding what I wanted to do, I found out about the Food Science Club, and I decided to attend its meetings during my spring quarter. And because of attending those meetings, I decided to change into the food science major, and I even applied for a position in the club called food coordinator, where I helped to make the meals for every meeting, and then that gave me a lot of experience with working in the pilot plant, with working with other students within the major, since I was already exposed to them in the intro classes. And it was just such a great way to get more involved with food science outside of the classroom, meet other people. As Tina said, we have industry speakers who would talk about their role in their companies, what they do, what products they make, and give you a better idea of what you want to do after college. And for me specifically, it was a great way for me to find an internship. So a lot of these companies give internships to students over the summer. And from my experience, I found out about a company from San Diego, since I'm from San Diego, called Chosen Foods. And I actually got to meet with them at an expo event that the club attended at the Fancy Foods Show in San Francisco. And by meeting them there and through the club, I was able to land an internship and get to work with that company and have more of a hands-on experience of how working in the food industry is really like. And I got to specifically work in quality, so I got more of an idea of how that would look like. And then just other things about the club itself. I think it's just a great way to make connections and see more of a different side than just the classroom. So.
Okay, and I'd just like to add to what they were saying. Thank you. Apart from, I mean, it is a fun activity, and you get to go to meetings every other week. You get to eat some great food prepared by the students and listen to some interesting talks. But keep in mind, it's also a great networking opportunity. As Justine was just saying, it's because of the Food Science Club that she was able to acquire an internship. And a lot of these people that come here to speak are also sometimes looking for, interns, or they might be looking long-term to hire somebody. So it's a great way to network and really get to know the industry as well. And I know Dr. Amin wanted to say a few words about the new building that will be built. So I'll pass it on to Dr. Amin.
Yeah, I know Dr. Young had mentioned it in her opening remarks, but this building will actually be completed during the time that you will be here. So you guys will actually be the first set of students to get to try out the new labs. So that would be something that'll be really great. You get the new lab smell. I know I'm really looking forward to it, because one of the new labs that'll go in there is a new teaching culinary lab that'll be state of the art. We'll have some really good stoves and resources in there for teaching and doing some really good events. And we'll have a sensory lab connected to it, and we'll be able to do some really good research in some of the other food labs. So that's something that'll be completed within the next about 3 years. So you guys will still be here if you start in this fall.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Amin. Does anybody have any other questions? Any last questions? We're just about out of time, but maybe one more if anybody has one. Okay, if you do have any more questions, there will be a Zoom chat available the week after. Next week, I should say. Let me just share very quickly the slide with you so you can see where it's going to be a Zoom chat. So, sorry, there you go. So if you have any more questions, we can definitely help. We're more than happy to answer them. You can reach our email or department email at fsn@calpoly.edu. Our website is www.fsn.calpoly.edu. And we are going to be having a chat Zoom sessions with some of our faculty next week. So on April 21st and the 23rd, it's a Tuesday and Thursday of next week, from 2 to 3. This is the Zoom ID, and that's the password. And some of our faculty are going to be available to answer any other questions you might have regarding our program.